and certainly we're seeing it accelerating. And partly why we're seeing it accelerating is that we're hearing from CIOs and CTOs across the globe that they're actually not just looking to be able to move business-oriented applications into the mobile environment, they're looking to move mission-critical applications into the mobile environment. From a cell phone perspective, that there are billions of cell phones that are sold annually. You know, what we're seeing, of course, is a tremendous growth in the smartphone category as well. And when you take a look at BlackBerry as an example, or RIM overall, what we're talking about is an all-in-one solution, all-in-one platform, which really provides customers with the ability to be able to remotely manage their environment, be able to ensure that security is inherent to the solution, be able to develop applications on their own or with third parties. Certainly from our perspective, what we really recommend is that customers, prospective customers or current customers, take a look at the return on investment from a mobility and a solutions perspective. So really take a look at the numbers, really take a look at the overall solution to determine one, what are their needs, and then how does that solution meet their needs, both current and future. Once they do an ROI assessment, I think they're certainly in a better position to be able to determine the overall total cost of ownership, as well as to determine the productivity enhancements that they can introduce into their business, and then again look at the efficiencies that they can also introduce, both from the employee perspective and then maybe even from a procedural perspective. What's great about that from our perspective as well is that historically we can really point to Ipsos Reid studies that identify the total cost of ownership and ROI perspective as it relates to BlackBerry. And just to give you sort of an anecdotal input from that as well, is that what they found is that companies can inject close to an hour in efficiency gains back into the organization per employee by investing in the BlackBerry platform. Well, I think that certainly the easy answer is for me to say mobility is for everyone. But I think that what's a harder answer, if you will, in response to the question, is that mobility sure is for everyone, but what we recognize is that first you certainly have your early adopters, without a doubt, whether it's from a mobility perspective, smartphone category perspective, and it's those early adopters who are really pushing the envelope in terms of applications, or really pushing the envelope in terms of utility for their business. So then what we see from that, regardless of whether it's enterprise, SMB, or the SOHO market, is that there are a lot of observers out there, a lot of companies, a lot of individuals who are looking for that leadership. And once they see that leadership demonstrated within the marketplace, then certainly that's when we are recognizing that they're jumping into the smartphone category, plus they're jumping into the BlackBerry platform environment, be it the BES, be it the BlackBerry Professional Software for SMB, or be it BlackBerry Unite from a SOHO perspective. Well, I think the great news is that we're seeing more and more that companies, regardless of size, are developing or have in place wireless strategies and wireless plans. In the past, of course, you may not have seen that every day, whether it was from an SMB or from an enterprise. So what does that mean from a wireless strategy perspective? It means that they're taking, again, a look at how they can mobilize their back-end environment for their employees or for their processes or for their customers. And then fundamentally what they're looking for, what they want, and what again, CIOs and CTOs are telling us is that they want something that's scalable, they want something that's easy to use. Most certainly, and I always need to emphasize this, they want something that is secure. Again, employing as an example, triple DES encryption or AES level encryption, application encryption, and content protection as an example. And then what they want to be able to do beyond that, again, is inject that efficiency from a manageability perspective of those devices, of those smartphones that they've deployed as assets to employees in the field. From our perspective, we work very hard at, from an industry perspective, to demonstrate that there's much more to mobility than email. There's much more to mobility than certainly to voice. And this is when we really introduce into the discussion the reality of extensibility. And that is, what does extensibility mean? That, again, means being able to mobilize, whether it's an enterprise, an SMB, or a SOHO environment, mobilize those back-end applications that you're accustomed to and putting them into the hands, basically, of your employees. So some great examples of that, of course, would be, maybe from an enterprise perspective, a perfect example would be, wireless carriers who have deployed BlackBerry with applications into the hands of their field level technicians so that they can remotely verify and monitor the uptime of those facilities and be able to establish whether there's an issue, establish whether maintenance is required, as an example there. On the SMB side, what's really amazing as well is that what you're seeing is that a growth, I think, from a CRM perspective. What they're finding is that they're putting, again, the power of an application, that it gets them closer to their customer in the hands of employees. So again, we're seeing maybe it's salespeople or marketing individuals having access to CRM applications within an SMB environment. And then from a SOHO perspective, with BlackBerry Unite, what's really exciting about Unite is that that provides individuals, whether they're individual professionals or, again, SOHOs working out of their home, providing them with the tools and power to be able to manage their own mobility environment. Again, whether it's through document access, whether it's through shared calendar as an example, whether it's, again, being able to access multimedia files and be able to share those files across either your SOHO company or maybe even your family members.